are back. It's Community Conversations. I'm Miss Community Clovia, and joining me on the show this morning, we're talking about my passion. That is folks getting out, exercising their right to vote. L. Douglas Wilder, thank you so much for joining me on the show.
Thank you. And as you know, we are approaching a time when people are going to be making key votes. One for the mayor of the city of Richmond, city council, President of the United States, all of which are important, and I listed them in the order that I did, because even though we'll be electing a president, and even though people are geared toward that, and more votes will be going for that office, I think, than in the history of the country, the real issues are at home.
Yes.
The real rubber hits the road at home. Your roads at home, your streets, your schools,
public safety,
your hospitals, your crime, all that is at home. And I can tell you from experience, the 4 years that I've been, the 3.5 years that I've been in this office, and the absence of pushing and fighting for a better day for most Richmonders, it never would happen. It's not going to happen with joining the Kumbaya chorus and people saying, oh, why can't we all get along? That is not going to cut it. And a lot of the people out there now are questioning, who should I vote for mayor? Who should I vote for city council? And they want to know who's going to be advocating and fighting for them. The most important thing that Barack Obama had going for him, in my judgment, up to this time, is he's been talking about what? Change. Not staying where we have been for the past 7.5 years. And whether you agree with him or not, look what John McCain and his running mate now are talking about: change. Everybody now is on the bandwagon for change. I even seen some people running for mayor talking about change. And if you had to ask some of them, do you know where we were? Yeah, well, where were you? And what did you do? And what have you done? And what do you do now? And what change will you bring about? So it's most important to articulate and to speak to it. Public safety, you're absolutely right. How did we get to a place where we've got the lowest crime rate in 26 years? How did we get to a place where we could have the numbers of people moving back into the city of Richmond, businesses locating in the city of Richmond? One of the things I regret, and you've heard me say it on this show on so many occasions, I found money, City of the Future money, $150 million to build schools. You know how many schools we've built? None. And you know what? That $150 million that I had ain't $150 no more. That value goes down because the interest that you pay goes up. The availability of the funds goes down. Isn't it a shame that you've had that opportunity to do something and haven't done it? I hope whomever the new superintendent is, the new mayor would be, are able to work together without political interference from either of the councils or the school board, and let those people work to bring about a better education system, build some schools for our city, our citizens, and our kids need them.
We need strong leadership.
Yeah,
Definitely continue
Definitely.
the course.
Exactly.
Here in the city of Richmond.
Exactly. If it's to be continued. And there are some people who question it very seriously. Now, we need strong leadership to bring about a change in Washington, too. And I don't have to tell you where I stood on that, where I stand on that, where I continue to go on that. I speak around the country, speak as often as I can for their nomination first, and then the ultimate election of Barack Obama. These are my views, they are not yours. I make it clear. But I make it also clear that it's not because he's African American. That has so little to do with it as far as I'm concerned. But he's an agent of change. He sees change, the need for change, and all of those things that you and I talked about to make a better life. To not tax people just for the heck of it, not to tax as many people if you can. But don't tax those people who least afford to be taxed. And if you're making over $250,000 a year and more, why should people under that be taxed? That's the kind of change we're talking about. Tax nobody if you can get away with it. My thing is spending with necessities and ending niceties. And that's why, even at the state level, people are talking about a $3 billion on top of the $2 billion we've already faced, or the $1 billion we've already faced. It's going to grow. The trickle-down effect of how that comes to those of us in localities is going to take place. There will be less money to spend. And I hear these candidates out here now talking, I'm going to do this, I'm going to spend this. I've gone through that when I was running for governor. When I got to be elected, I had nothing. That might very well be the situation at this local level. We'll have less. Then the question is, what are you going to do with less? And what are your plans to tighten up spending? Or what can you do without? What agencies need to be combined? What monies are you giving to some groups to supposedly help the city when that help isn't coming? All of that needs to stop. And I can outline several of those people. And I think these are tight times. Tight times bring about better decisions because they force you to have to do with less, but they don't mean that you have to do a lesser job. Do a better job with less. Don't complain about it. Just tighten up.
Tighten up.
Tighten up.
We're going to close on that note.
We're going to close on it. Let's tighten up.
Voter registration deadline again is October 6th. If you're going to be voting by absentee, you have until October 28th to drop that in the mail. So we just wanted to make sure you know that.
And again, thank you.
Thank you.
Miss Voter. Clovia.